At the very beginning of the film, two primitive men wander deep into a dense forest until they stumble upon a mysterious tree bearing several glowing fruits. Curious and unable to resist, one of them plucks a fruit and takes a bite. Instantly, a strange chain of events is set in motion. A massive snake suddenly drops down and coils at their feet, startling them. In the blink of an eye, they are transported to a far more advanced civilization where humans live in a sophisticated kingdom. The man who tasted the fruit eventually finds himself charming and seducing the beautiful queen who rules this realm. After this surreal introduction, the story abruptly shifts back to where everything truly began. The narrative moves to biblical era times when humanity is still living in a very primitive state. A band of hunters ventures deep into the wilderness searching for food. They pursue a wild boar, and just as the lead hunter, Marlak, prepares to strike, one of his fellow hunters is suddenly pierced by a spear. A man named Zed appears and proudly boasts about his accuracy, assuming he killed the animal. When it becomes clear that he missed, Zed apologizes, though he mutters under his breath that the fallen hunter got in his way. Marlak overhears the sarcastic comment and reacts angrily, grabbing Zed and humiliating him in front of the others. The hunters eventually return to their village. Back at the settlement, a gentleman named O is seen picking strawberries. As Marlak passes by, he mocks O and deliberately knocks his basket of fruit to the ground. It becomes clear that O and Zed have been inseparable friends since childhood. While talking, Zed notices his crush, Maya, and attempts to flirt with her. She politely declines his advances, explaining that she desires a strong man who can protect her and provide for her future. To make matters worse for Zed, Marlak presents Maya with a boar's head as a romantic gesture and confidently tries to win her over. Meanwhile, O harbors feelings for Zed's sister, Emma, but he is far too shy to approach her. Soon after, Zed becomes enraged when someone from the village relieves himself behind his sleeping area. Frustrated and feeling disrespected, Zed convinces O to accompany him on a walk through the forest. Along the way, Zed vents about how he has always been belittled and treated like an outcast. Their wandering leads them to a tree bearing glowing fruit, the same forbidden fruit that no one dares to approach. It is strictly prohibited to eat from it, though no one seems to remember exactly why. Zed argues that the ban makes no sense and speculates that eating it might grant him intelligence and improve his chances with Maya. Despite O's desperate attempts to stop him, Zed defiantly takes a bite. Immediately, Zed declares that he now possesses superior wisdom, though he embarrassingly fails to answer even the simplest scientific questions. At that moment, a giant snake slithers around his legs, causing him to panic. He urgently asks O what to do, but his supposed new intelligence proves useless. In stubbornness, he eats even more of the forbidden fruit. That evening, the village celebrates with a lively dance festival. O awkwardly tries to impress Emma by performing a strange fertility dance. Emma joins him for a brief moment, but O accidentally strikes her on the head with a stick, mistakenly believing she would find it appealing. Offended, she hits him back and storms away. Meanwhile, someone from the village reports Zed for eating the forbidden fruit. Marlak confronts him in anger, and Zed is officially banished. Things spiral further when Zed accidentally sets the village ablaze while holding a flaming stick. The hunters chase him furiously. Marlak nearly kills Zed while he hides in bushes, but O intervenes at the last second, knocking Marlak unconscious. Together, the two friends flee as chaos engulfs their burning home. As they journey away from the village, O insists the world is flat and fears they will fall off once they cross the mountains. Zed disagrees. The next morning, they discover vast lands beyond the mountains, proving O wrong. Impressed, O assumes Zed's forbidden fruit granted him this knowledge. Continuing onward, they encounter a herd of cows grazing peacefully. Zed attempts to kill one for food but is violently kicked away. Two brothers, Cain and Abel, appear and introduce themselves as farmers who own the livestock. While explaining their agricultural lifestyle, tensions rise between the brothers, leading to a vicious fight. In a shocking turn, Cain kills Abel with a stone as Zed and O watch in horror. Cain invites them to his home for supper. Afraid to refuse, they reluctantly accept. During dinner, Adam, the family patriarch, asks about Abel's whereabouts, and the trio lies. Later, Adam insists that Zed sleep with a beautiful woman, while O is assigned to share space with a filthy man who constantly passes gas, preventing him from resting. Zed's excitement quickly fades when he realizes the woman is uninterested in men. The following morning, Adam and the villagers search for Abel and discover his body, concluding Cain is responsible. By then Zed and O have fled. At a bustling market, they unexpectedly see Marlak, Maya, and Emma bound as captives. After learning that raiders attack their village and enslave the survivors, Zed tries to buy their freedom but lacks money. Cain reappears, promising help, only to betray them and sell them into slavery in exchange for a horse. Locked in a cage with other prisoners, they are transported away until a rival tribe ambushes the slavers. Amid the chaos, Zed and O escape, but Maya and Emma are taken. Attempting to track the attackers, they accidentally fall asleep, only to awaken and find everyone gone. They overhear talk of a city called Sodom, and decide to head there. Along the way, they encounter Abraham preparing to sacrifice his son Isaac in obedience to God. Zed and O interrupt, claiming divine instruction to stop him. Grateful, Abraham welcomes them to his village as holy messengers but insists they undergo circumcision to prove their faith. Terrified, they flee. Isaac secretly follows them to Sodom, a city he sneaks into for fun. Guards capture Zed and O at the gates, but Cain, now a city guard, saves them. The next day, they are recruited as guards despite lacking qualifications. While exploring, Zed becomes infatuated with Princess Inyana. They witness a virgin being sacrificed to appease God. Soon, Zed is summoned to the palace, where he discovers Maya and Emma are enslaved there. The high priest explains that entering the sacred chamber means certain death unless one is truly chosen by God. Claiming he is chosen, Zed enters but finds nothing divine. Only O hiding from inappropriate advances by the priest. They are arrested for breaking sacred rules and sentenced to be stoned. Zed argues that surviving the holy chamber proves he is chosen, swaying the crowd. Though spared execution, they remain enslaved. When Princess Inyana, Maya, and Emma are selected for sacrifice, Zed sparks a rebellion. Abraham arrives with reinforcements, chaos erupts, guards betray the king, and the high priest falls into the fire pit. O rescues Emma and confesses his love amid the turmoil. Zed saves Maya and ultimately admits he is not chosen by God but simply determined to fight for his friends. Inspired, the crowd revolts fully. Rain begins to fall, reinforcing their hope. In the aftermath, Princess Inyana becomes queen. O decides to return home to rebuild his village, while Zed chooses to travel the world with Maya. The two friends share an emotional yet awkward farewell before parting ways outside Sodom. Your continued support means so much to us, so please consider subscribing for more great content.